All right, so after completing 100 days in office, Donald Trump is picking up another battle in the White House, and the president's latest proposal is regarding America's budget for 2026, what he himself refers to as a big, beautiful budget. And in a short while from now, the White House is expected to unveil Trump's budget proposal. The national security part of the budget is expected to get a major boost, in fact, to the tune of more than $1 trillion. This is reportedly a 13% increase from the current year's numbers. On the other hand, the budget announcement will have cuts in non-defense federal expenditure, which is expected to be as high as $163 billion. However, Republican lawmakers assure that this will not impact Medicaid, a federal program that many have been concerned about, including Democrats and leaders from the other side as well, who are critical of these sweeping changes, remember. And the budget will reflect spending that has already been slashed by Elon Musk, who heads the Department of Government Efficiency. Ever since its establishment in January, the department has already frozen federal funds across agencies and also mass-fired thousands of federal employees. It is expected that the Democrats will react strongly to the proposed so-called skinny budget. However, House Speaker Mike Johnson has taken up the mammoth task of ensuring that the lower house passes the detailed version of the budget by Memorial Day later this month. And after that, the budget goes to the Senate for approval via the lawmakers' vote. And with us on the broadcast is Lester Munson, who is a senior fellow, National Security Institute, and co-head of the international practice at BGR Group, a leading government relations firm in Washington, D.C. Thanks very much for being here on the broadcast. I have to begin by asking you for your reaction to what we were just discussing with our correspondent a while ago. What do you make of the whole Mike Waltz demotion, promotion conversation and what the White House is trying to portray right now?
Well, I suspect that a lot of this talk about ideology and kind of foreign policy viewpoints is not the real issue. Mike Waltz is a very sensible person. If it's true that he made the kind of tactical error of not including the chief of staff, Susie Wiles, in certain meetings, I suspect that this is much more about that than his views of Iran, Russia, Ukraine, Gaza, or anything like that. Inside the White House, it's a very small number of people who make the real decisions. They need to get along, and if there's tension between two of them, then that more powerful person is going to prevail every time. And in this case, irritating Susie Wiles, whether that was inadvertent or advertent, is probably a big mistake. So I suspect this is about that. And Mr. Waltz, who's a very good man and does a good job, I think, sending him to New York to be the ambassador of the United Nations makes some sense, gets him out of the White House and puts him in a position where he can still do some effective diplomacy and policymaking in the national security space.
Right, Lester, I'm talking about the budget. Of course, Donald Trump has called it the big, beautiful budget. Beautiful is definitely a word that he likes. He used the word tariff. He called it the most beautiful word in the dictionary. But speaking about the budget specifically, what are your expectations? What do you see happening here?
Well, this budget's very interesting. We haven't seen it officially, of course, but the leaks are that it's going to be a significant increase in U.S. defense spending. I think that's a very smart move that is going to help keep the president's Republican coalition together on the Hill. The president needs to keep both the budget cutters in the House Freedom Caucus and the national security hawks inside the party in the kind of on the same team and supporting his agenda by calling for a big increase in defense spending while calling for cuts in other areas. He's going to keep that Republican coalition together. The Democrats aren't going to like it because they're going to see cuts to their favored domestic programs. But I think politically, this is pretty smart for the president. It keeps him as the kind of the utterly unchallenged head of the Republican Party.
All right, we're leaving it there for the moment. Thanks very much for joining us here, Lester Munson.
Thank you very much.